StudyIQ IAS, अब तैयारी हुई affordable.
I hope this message finds you fit and fine. In our previous video, we were discussing President of India in this Lakshmikant series. Today, we need to talk about the second part, the important area, powers of Honorable President. Some of you might be thinking, sir, we were thinking that President don't have any power, real power in the hands of Prime Minister. Yeah, real powers are in the hand of Prime Minister, means to run this government. But President do have, some power, and there's diversity there. Executive power, legislative power, judicial power, financial power, diplomatic power, military power, emergency power. There's variety there. So let's understand them one by one. Along with this discussion, we're going to actually read the lines of Lakshmikant as well, okay, to make you understand them better. I'm also going to pinpoint on some trap areas on which UPSC likely to make question, and we're going to practice some MCQs as well. Let's start with a simple power, diplomatic power. Those who aspire to become, say, officer of Indian Foreign Service, so what is the highest position you want to achieve in your diplomatic career? Diplomatic career, I'm saying. So you would say, sir, Foreign Secretary. But before that, you need to become ambassador, right? India's topmost diplomatic official in other nations. So there's a trajectory in this diplomatic career that people who get appointed as India's ambassador to US, there's a high probability that these people, rise to become foreign secretary if they have this, service left. Now, consider that you are becoming ambassador to US. Who is going to give you official letter? Official letter is going to be given by Honorable President, right? Second, if America is sending some diplomatic official as ambassador to India, then this person need to visit to our Honorable President, present this letter. Sir, this letter is from our President. Please accept me as ambassador of US in India. Then that person is accepted, right? So it means one is exchange of top diplomatic officials. Apart from this, all international treaties, agreements are signed in the name of Honorable President. Although these treaties need to be ratified by Parliament as well at the later stage. So you can consider that in international sphere, President represents India as a state. Okay, so these are the points. Clear? I think it is quite clear if you just remember the keywords. International treaty and agreement signed in the name of President, exchange of top diplomatic officials, President represents India in international sphere. Okay. Now, military relations. Just remember 3 points, three key points. President is the supreme commander of our defense forces. Okay, supreme commander, topmost position. All the chiefs, Air Force, Navy, right? So, Army, so they are appointed by Honorable President. War is declared as well as concluded by Honorable President, although it is ratified by Parliament as well at later stage. But please remember, these are the three, powers which come under military power of Honorable President. Clear? Executive power. So there's a list here, and here we need to go one by one. Okay, I'm going to simplify each and everything for you, and you need to just grab some keywords so that this knowledge is structured in your mind and readily used in your exam. First point in executive power is all executive decisions of Government of India are taken in the name of President, because Constitution says so, right? Now, if you just check, make rules. Which rules we are talking about? Make rules is specifying the manner. So who is making rules? President of India. So President of India make rules is specifying the manner in which orders and other instruments made and executed in his name be authenticated. This point is related to the first point. You are making orders, executive decisions in the name of President. But the process which is going to be used in this is going to be decided by Honorable President. Although President is not going to decide this rule on his own. Obviously on the aid and advice of Council of Ministers. But rule need to sign by Honorable President. Make rules for more convenient transaction of business. So here business does not mean the real business, means business in the normal sense. Okay, business means the working of the union government or for allocation of said business among the ministers. So it means the duties, responsibilities of the Union government and sharing them among ministers. So rules regarding this are made by Honorable President. Okay. So first point is in the name of President. Second is make rules. Okay. Please remember, in your Lakshmikant, this make rules part, this word is going to be used at two places. One in executive power and second in legislative power. Then some of you might be thinking, sir, then make rules will be under executive power. How we are going to remember it? It is quite easy. In these both points, we are talking about making rules with respect to executives. Temporary executive, ministers, government, executive, right? And there we are going to talk about making rules with respect to legislature. Okay, difference is this. We are on the executive side as of now. Okay. Next, appointments. Appointments of Prime Minister, Minister, CEC, UPSC Chairman, CAG. So all these executive positions, the appointment are done by Honorable President. So PM, COM, AG, CAG, CEC, Governor, Chairman, FC, you can remember UPSC, Chairman for National Commission for SC, National Commission for ST. So all these commissions chairman, who appoints them? Honorable President. And it is quite easy to remember because individually when you read these chapters, there you are going to find this detail again and again, and it will be imprinted in your mind. No need to worry. But please remember, appointment to these executive positions come under executive power of Honorable President. Clear? Now, as I explained to you, appointment of CAG, UPSC Chairman, this is written. Now, seeking any information relating to administration of affairs. So, with respect to taking information from Prime Minister regarding Council of Ministers, what particular ministry is doing, or asking Honorable Prime Minister that one minister had proposed some time back this particular proposal, what is the status? Is Council of Ministers has discussed it or not? So it means this information, seeking information from Council of Ministers is also executive power of Honorable President. And Council of Ministers is executive, right? And its link with President will come under executive power. Clear? Just remember this. Can appoint commission to investigate to conditions of SCs and STs. A separate commission can also be made, or you can say appointed by Honorable President. Can appoint interstate council to promote center-state and interstate cooperation. We discussed in center-state relations as well, right? Appointed by Honorable President. So this appointment of commission by Honorable President will also come under executive power because we are talking about executive branch. These commissions are not there to make law, right? These commissions are there to just check whether the laws which were made are being implemented or not, whether we can actually find out solution between the ongoing dispute, right? He administers the union territories through administrators appointed by him. For example, Lakshadweep, Andaman Nicobar. So these UTs are being governed by, say, Lakshadweep. Administrator is there. So administrator is representing whom? Honorable President, working on the pleasure of Honorable President, right? So directions can be given to that administrator. Can declare any area as scheduled area and has powers with respect to scheduled areas and scheduled tribe. If one area is declared as scheduled area, then special protection will be given to that area. Who has this power? President has this power, right? And here he is not making any law, he is just declaring an order. Now coming to the financial power. So I think it is clear. You are going to remember in name of President, making rules, these two areas, appointment, seeking information from COM, then appointment of these commissions, interstate council, investigating of SC/ST, right? And this declaring scheduled area. I hope now it is clear to you, right? Financial power. Any money bill which is presented in Lok Sabha need prior assent, prior recommendation of Honorable President. So money bill is related to money, finances. So this comes under financial power. Budget. Budget is presented in Lok Sabha before prior recommendation of Honorable President. Comes under financial power. Grants. If government needs certain amount from Consulate Fund of India to be used as a grant, then it need to be this approval of President is mandatory. Prior approval is of President is mandatory. It means coming under financial power. Then Consulate Fund of India. As you know, there are three funds three prominent funds. One is Consolidated Fund of India. The word is consolidate. It means all the revenues from tax, non-tax receipts, they are coming under this consolidated fund, right? For example, income tax, GST, right? These revenues are coming under Consolidated Fund of India. Okay, from there budget is allocated, and then this money is transferred to different departments. Now, second is public account. Public account is, for example, a small savings scheme, PF. From your salary, when you're going to get the job, or those who are doing job, a small amount is deducted from your salary every month. Where does it go? It goes to one organization, EPFO, Employee Provident Fund Organization. So EPFO manages this fund. It means this fund is with government. Now tell me, this fund is of government only, or this fund belongs to you? This fund belongs to you, to public. But this is being managed by government, right, as a saving. So that is why it is called public account. Can government spend money from this fund? Yes, but there are some guidelines, right? So this is public account. Then third is contingency. Contingency is itself, word represents O's. There's some emergent circumstances. There's shortfall in fund with some ministry, and they need immediate fund. So this is consolidated fund. So this fund is with Honorable President, and on the behalf of Honorable President, Finance Secretary, it means topmost official of Finance Ministry, manages this fund. Okay, so this is consolidated fund. So this is special power with Honorable President. So this comes under financial power. So what is the corpus of contingency fund as of now? What amount is managed as contingency fund as of now? Comment in. Just mention in comment box. Answer is 200 crore. Now, Finance Commission. Finance Commission is also appointed by Honorable President. It means it also comes under financial power. Okay. Now, legislative power, another important part. So, I'm going to tell you three words: summon, prorogue, dissolve. Summon means to call the session. Can Parliament work without calling? No. The first step is you need to call the session of Parliament, then only people will come, right? So who does the summoning? President does. So it comes under legislative power because it is dealing with legislative branch, right? Like we were earlier discussing matters related to executive branch, and wherever president was involved, what we were calling executive power, right? Here in legislative branch, wherever president is going to be involved, we are going to call it legislative power. Okay, so summon, calling, prorogue, ending the session, right? So this comes under legislative power. There's another word, dissolve. But we do not use the word dissolve with Rajya Sabha. We do use the word dissolve only with Lok Sabha, right? Because Rajya Sabha is a permanent house. There's no point where there's no member in Rajya Sabha. So we are going to discuss why it works like this. What was the idea behind this? We are going to discuss this in Parliament chapter. So Lok Sabha is dissolved, right? So when Lok Sabha is dissolved, so this comes under legislative power of Honorable President. Okay, so three words: summon, prorogue, and dissolve. Now he can address the House on the commencement of first session. When I say first session, there are two meanings. Number one, first session of every year, first session after General Assembly elections. So there president goes there and present his speech. So since at this point president is engaging in legislative branch, that is why it comes under legislative power of Honorable President. Okay. He can send message to the Houses of Parliament whether with respect to a bill pending there or not. Means if there's some bill pending, so he can send message, give me the status, what is happening with them, with those bills, so that they can expedite this process considering the respect to the office of President. Okay. He can appoint member of Lok Sabha as presiding officer. Someone need to preside the house, right? So he can appoint when the office of both speaker and deputy speaker fall vacant. So you know that speaker works as presiding officer of Lok Sabha. In his absence, deputy speaker. If they are not there, then president can appoint. So since engaging in legislative branch, that is why legislative power. Similarly, he can also appoint any member of the Rajya Sabha to preside over its proceedings when the office of both chairman and deputy chairman fall vacant. So in this case also, it is legislative power. He nominates 12 members in Rajya Sabha. So since this power related to legislative branch, nomination of 12 members in Rajya Sabha, it comes under legislative power of Honorable President. He decides on questions to disqualification. In Parliament chapter, we are going to discuss disqualification of members of Parliament. There I am going to tell you the ways a particular member can be disqualified. So if that person is being disqualified on any matter related to say constitutional, the qualifications mentioned in constitution, now this person is not following that, then that person can be disqualified. Also matters mentioned in Representation of People Act, right? So in these two cases, Election Commission may recommend to the Honorable President, sir, please disqualify this member. So in this case, this power is going to come as regarded as legislative power. For example, if you search on Google, disqualification of 21 AAP MLAs from Delhi. So who actually pronounced this decision that these 21 AAP MLAs stands disqualified on the basis of using office of profit? The decision was taken by Honorable President on the advice of Election Commission. Since this decision is related to legislative branch, it comes under legislative power of Honorable President. Clear? His prior recommendation or permission needed to introduce certain type of bills. Which kind of bills? For example, bill involving expenditure from consolidate fund, I just told you. So this power comes under financial power as well as this legislative power. Okay, a bill for the alteration of boundaries of state. If you remember when I was discussing Article 3, Article 4, we talked about it. Creation of new state. When a bill is sent to the president, what options president has? Consider, I'm president. Okay. You never know what happens next, right? Life gives surprises. So now, I'm president. I received this bill, right? So bill is always, several laws, certain sections compiled in this manner. Now what choices I have? Either I sign this bill and it becomes an act, right? Or I withhold my assent that, oh, I'm suppressing this bill. Or I don't do anything. It just sit on my table, right? So it means give assent to the bill. Withhold assent to the bill means negation. Return the bill. Return the bill means I'm giving it back to you that, for example, I received this bill from Lok Sabha. I'm giving it back for reconsideration. I may also give certain advices. Okay. It is up to you whether you accept that or not. Such is the status of Honorable President in this area for reconsideration of the Parliament. Right. So here you can see there are three options given. Okay. Give assent to the bill, sign the bill, and it becomes an act. Withhold assent to the bill, negation, and reconsideration of the Parliament, sending the bill back for the reconsideration. I also gave you another option, means not doing anything with the bill. Not doing anything with the bill. So that is pocket veto. I'm going to discuss this in detail soon when I'm going to discuss veto. Now, there are cases as well, means UPSC has made statements like with respect to withholding the bill. So, withholding the bill as a power of legislative power of Honorable President can be used on which scenarios. Then they give options like private member bill, government bill, even when Council of Ministers is advising Honorable President to give assent. Government bill, where this government bill belongs to the previous government. And polity is quite easy. You just need to understand it with the logic. Just grab the logic and it is sorted. And we are going to understand the logic. If the bill is passed again by the Parliament, consider I send this bill back for reconsideration and you again pass the bill. Now, can I resend this back? No. The President has to give assent to the bill. Now, second time I have to give assent to the bill. And this applies only when I'm talking about that I'm sending this back for reconsideration. Okay. When a bill passed by state legislature is resolved by the President, you know that a bill is cleared by state legislature, presented to governor, and governor reserve it for the president. Then what president can do? Give assent to the bill. In that cases where governor thinks, oh, this particular bill is in contravention to some central law, that is why I want this bill to be given to honorable president. Then president can sign the bill, it becomes act. Withhold the assent to the bill, not doing anything, suppressing the bill. Okay, please remember, some people get confused with the withhold. They think it is negating or it is pocket veto. Actually, there's no term pocket veto mentioned in our constitution. It is actually, you can say, understood when nothing is done to a bill for a longer period of time, then it is considered, oh, it is under pocket veto. There's no explicit announcement by government or explicit announcement by honorable president that, oh, I'm using pocket veto here. Okay. Direct the governor, return the bill. Right. So third option can also be used. But please remember, this third option, direct the governor, means I'm president and I received this bill as a state legislative bill from governor. So I can send this bill back. But if it is a money bill, then we cannot use it. Means then we cannot return the bill. Direct the governor to return the bill if it is not money bill for reconsideration of the state legislature. Now, some of you might be thinking, sir, why it is written it is not money bill? Simple reason is, money bill deals with expenditure which may be more important for the government of the state to be used, right? If they are raising this money bill, it means they are demanding money from consular fund of state. So at this point, their time need not to be wasted. That you want to give them the bill back and then this bill will come again. What about the time, right? So that is why either you accept it or reject it. You cannot actually send this bill back for reconsideration. Okay? In money bill, you need to be straight. I'm talking about president's power with respect to bill on state legislature. Bill of state legislature. I hope it is clear to you. It is a good point where UPSC can play. Clear? It should be noted here that it is not obligatory for president to give his assent even if the bill is again passed by state legislature. And this is the difference between this when a bill is given to honorable president by union legislature and bill is given back by state legislature. In case of union legislature, I once sent back and then they again passed, I was bound to sign the bill. But in state legislature, this is our state, right? Not equal in terms of, value with the union legislature. So in this case, if they are sending this bill back to the president through governor, sir, we have reconsidered and we don't want to change. So in this case, president is not bound to sign this bill, right? But in case of union legislature, if this bill is coming second time, then president is bound. Okay, please remember this. He can promulgate ordinance. Ordinance, you remember? It's like a stopgap solution. When both the houses or one house is not in session. And if house is not in session and government wants some law to be passed, how are we going to pass that law? If house is not in session and there's immediate need. So in this case, our constitution gave this tool of ordinance. You can say temporary law. So he can promulgate ordinance when parliament is not in session. But please remember the detail I told you. UPSC play on those details. Parliament is not in session. It means both the houses or one house. Because you cannot make a law by one house, right? At the level of parliament. These ordinances must be approved by parliament within 6 weeks. Please remember. Because it's a stopgap solution. When parliament is going to be reconvened, session is going to be reconvened, within 6 months you have to get this ordinance passed. He can also withdraw an ordinance at any time. Ordinance was passed, a temporary law, and then president himself can declare on the advice of council minister, now I am declaring repealed. He lays the report of the CAG, UPSC, Finance Commission and others before the parliament. This line we are going to read in these chapters as well. So you need to remember, oh, this line is related to what? This power means legislative power. Because interaction is happening with legislative branch. Clear? He can make regulations for peace, progress, good governance, where Andaman Nicobar, Lakshadweep, Daman and Diu and Pondicherry as well. Okay, it's specifically mentioned, you should remember. कई बार मन में सवाल आता होगा कि इस प्रिपरेशन को शुरू तो कर दिया है, मजा भी आ रहा है, तभी आप इस वीडियो में हैं, सीखने को तो मिल रहा है, लेकिन क्या उतना पढ़ा जा रहा है जितना इस एग्जाम को क्लियर करने के लिए जरूरी है? क्योंकि अल्टीमेट ऑब्जेक्टिव तो क्या है? योर नेम इन मेरिट लिस्ट। तो देखिए, कंटेंट तो सेम है, लेकिन कंटेंट को यूज करने की हमें स्किल डेवलप करनी है। कैसे होगी वो स्किल डेवलप? पहले तो भाई टाइम से हर एक सब्जेक्ट का कंटेंट तैयार होना चाहिए। अगर आप वो कर रहे हैं ठीक है, लेकिन इफ यू वांट टू टेक हेल्प तो आप StudyIQ की हेल्प ले सकते हैं। जो StudyIQ का P2I प्रोग्राम है, आप StudyIQ ऐप या वेबसाइट पर देख सकते हैं। P2I मतलब प्रीलिम से लेकर इंटरव्यू तक का एक प्रोग्राम। तो ये एक प्रोग्राम के अंदर 4 फेजेस हैं। तो उस 4 फेजेस के थ्रू पहले ही फेज में आपका कंप्लीट सिलेबस हो जाएगा। तो इट इज लाइक द बेसिक थिंग, ये तो करना ही है। इसके बाद आता है कि हमें स्किल्स डेवलप करनी है, यानी कि उस कंटेंट का प्रीलिम्स में इस्तेमाल हो सके, उस कंटेंट का मेंस में इस्तेमाल हो सके, यानी कि आंसर राइटिंग। फिर हमें असेसमेंट चाहिए बीच बीच में, जिससे कि हमें कमियां पता लगती रहें। तो इसके लिए भी P2I में आपको प्रीलिम्स मेंस दोनों की टेस्ट सीरीज दी जा रही है। वीकेंड पर भी टेस्ट होते हैं, प्लस डेली मेंस आंसर राइटिंग होती है। तो आपको नहीं लगता अगर इतना कोई मेहनत आपके साथ कर ले, तो आप करना तो चाहते हैं बट एक पाथवे नहीं है, तो P2I प्रोग्राम वो पाथवे आपके लिए साबित हो सकता है। तो टेक हेल्प ऑफ दिस। फिर आपके मन में कभी कभी जो डाउट आता है उसको ढूंढने के लिए आपका काफी समय जाया हो जाता है। जाया इसलिए कह रहा हूं क्योंकि हो सकता है उस डाउट को ढूंढने के लिए आपने 1 घंटा लगा दिया, क्योंकि उससे एसोसिएटेड काफी सारी चीजें नई नई पता लगती चली गई आपको। ऐसे में इस टाइम को रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं आप। एग्जाम ओरिएंटेड क्या उस डाउट से रिलेटेड नॉलेज आपको चाहिए, वो आपको एक पर्सनल मेंटोर बता सकता है। तो इस कोर्स में फैकल्टीज तो आपके साथ हैं ही, इस पूरी जर्नी में आपको पर्सनल मेंटोर दिया जा रहा है, आप उसकी हेल्प लीजिए। आप कॉल व्हाट्सएप पर कभी भी उनके साथ कनेक्ट हो सकते हैं। उनका नंबर आपको इस कोर्स में स्पेसिफिकली आपको अलॉट होगा। तो अल्टीमेटली आपका टाइम बचेगा, कॉन्फिडेंस आएगा प्रिपरेशन में। फिर जैसे आप प्रीलिम्स क्लियर कर लेते हैं तो उसके बाद मेंस रेजिडेंशियल प्रोग्राम, ये इसका सेकंड फेज मतलब थर्ड फेज कहिए, क्योंकि पहले फेज में फाउंडेशन है, फिर सक्सेस इन प्रीलिम्स है, फिर MRPA मेंस रेजिडेंशियल प्रोग्राम। फिर उसके लिए आप दिल्ली बुला लिया जाता है आपको। यहाँ पर आप मतलब जो फूडिंग लॉजिंग एवरीथिंग इज टेकन केयर बाय StudyIQ। और उसके बाद फिर रिगरस प्रिपरेशन होती है आपकी मेंस के हिसाब से, यानी कि हर एक जो आपका पेपर है, GS है, लैंग्वेज है, essay है, हर एक की तैयारी यहीं पर हम आपको अपने सामने कराते हैं। उसके बाद जैसे आप मेंस क्लियर करते हैं तो इंटरव्यू गाइडेंस प्रोग्राम, वहाँ पर आपके कोहोर्ट्स बनते हैं जिसमें डिस्कशन के थ्रू जो आपके अदर एस्पिरेंट्स हैं जो आपके साथ इंटरव्यू देने वाले हैं, तो आप अपनी स्किल्स को पॉलिश करते हैं। साथ में ब्यूरोक्रेट्स, फॉर्मर टॉपर्स, ये सब फैकल्टीज आपको मिलकर गाइड करते हैं। फाइनली व्हेन यू आर थ्रू इनटू द मेरिट लिस्ट, देन फिर आपको लगता है कि हाँ, इट वाज ऑल वर्थ इट। मिलते हैं आपसे क्लासेस में, ख्याल रखिए। जय हिंद। Who presides over the joint sitting? This question is from Parliament chapter, but we should actually start grilling around it because we need to discuss Parliament, right? Just tell me, what is joint sitting? I told you. That's why I asked this. I told you, when a bill is passed by Lok Sabha and stuck in Rajya Sabha, ordinary bill, and it's been more than 6 months, and this condition is a deadlock condition, then president can call joint sitting. So here president is calling joint sitting. It means calling joint sitting is a legislative power of president. Please remember it. Now, who presides over this joint sitting? Means who is going to be in the chair when both the houses are going to sit together and discuss this bill, which is actually creating some deadlock between them. Answer is Speaker of Lok Sabha. Okay. And if Speaker of Lok Sabha is absent, who is going to actually preside over the joint sitting? Then Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha. And if Deputy Speaker is absent, then Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha. Have I mentioned Rajya Sabha Chairman, who is Vice President? No. Please remember these details. And there's a logic behind it. A Speaker of Lok Sabha, if you compare Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, who has more strength? Lok Sabha. Right? Then Deputy Speaker is given preference. Then Deputy Chairman. Why not Chairman? Because deputy chairman is a member of Rajya Sabha, whereas Rajya Sabha chairman position is ex officio position given to vice president. So vice president is not an elected or nominated member of Rajya Sabha. And if we are convening joint sitting, only members should be present. Clear? How many members can a president nominate in Lok Sabha? Come on. I also mentioned this in my previous lecture. Answer is none. Why? Earlier 2 positions of Anglo-Indians were there. But in 2020, government removed them. So it means as of now, no. There's no nominated position in Lok Sabha. Now let's talk about judicial position. Judicial power. He appoints Chief Justice. So when I say judicials, immediately your mind works, oh, now sir is going to talk about pardoning power. Respite, reprieve, commute. There's a lot of confusion there. Now sir is going to clear that. I'm going to clear that. But please remember, judicial power is more than that. It means now any engagement of Honorable President in judicial branch will be termed as judicial power of Honorable President. For example, appointment of Chief Justice of India, judges of Supreme Court, High Court, judicial power. Seeking advice from Supreme Court, although that advice is not binding on Honorable President. Okay, he can grant pardon. Now comes this mercy petitions in picture, which you were waiting for. So we are going to discuss about them in detail in pardoning power. Means pardon, reprieve, respite, remission, commutation. Coming to emergency power, I'm going to discuss about them in detail, okay? Because there's good scope of questions from here. I'm going to compare with these powers of president with the power of governor as well. Emergency power we discussed in the emergency chapter in detail. National emergency, president rule, and financial emergency. 2 videos are in playlist Lakshmikant series. Check out those who have not. Now comes the veto power. What is the meaning of veto power? Take your example. You along with your friends were making a plan that, we should go Goa this time. Okay. So all is sorted, finances are arranged, everything is set. But one thing you missed. You missed asking your parents' permission. Now you went to your parents, you were sitting on the dinner table and you asked, I have to go to Goa and everything is planned. This person is going, this person is going. And all the ideal kind of friends of yours, you named them. Right? This is what we use, tactics we use. But parents said no. You said, everything is arranged. They said no means no. Now your plan is cancelled. That is veto power of your parents. At any point, if they say no, it means plan is quashed. So president do have some veto power with respect to certain bills, right? These bills, all bill passed by the parliament need to be present before the president, then only they can become act, right? This is quite clear. And president can use veto. But before understanding veto, we should know what choices he has or she has. Can give assent, okay, then it becomes an act. Withhold assent, now this bill is not going to become act. Return the bill for reconsideration, has to give assent to the bill reconsidered. I have already told you. Send the bill back for reconsideration. Again, it comes back, sign this bill. I'm talking about bill coming from union legislature to the president. Does the president has the power to withhold the assent to the bill? That is veto power. Veto power. It prevents hasty and ill-conceived legislation. Why this was made? Why president was given this power to withhold or send back for reconsideration? So that if there's some loophole in the bill as well, then this can be highlighted at this stage. Prevents unconstitutional legislation. Okay, although we have additional layer of safety there, but even if president signs the bill, then there is Supreme Court sitting there and they can review and declare this null and void if this is unconstitutional, right? But there's a check here also. There are 4 kinds of vetoes, which president of India has 3 kinds of vetoes. 4th veto is present with president of USA. Absolute veto, suspensive veto, pocket veto. President of USA also has qualified veto. I'm going to discuss about that as well. Now, qualified veto, which can be overridden by higher majority. For example, if you have presented me a bill and you got 52% majority, while you actually cleared this bill from legislature. I'm US President now. I sent this bill for reconsideration as a qualified veto. Now, when this bill is received back to me by 60% majority, means 8% more people, more legislative branch members have voted for it. Now I have to clear it. So it means this majority part works there. Okay. But in case of the suspensive veto means sending this bill back for reconsideration. In this case, there is no need to actually clear this bill with more majority this time. If you cleared with 51% majority earlier, I received the bill, I received this bill, I sent this bill back, you again send this bill back to me with 51% majority, I am bound to sign this bill, right? That is suspensive veto. Absolute veto. So let's understand them one by one. Power to withhold assent to the bill. It's like President is saying, no, I'm not going to sign. But from where our President gets so much, guts to actually say this to Council of Ministers? So there are cases involved. I'm going to talk about. Bill ends and doesn't become an act. Which case? Private member bill. It means if a bill was raised or tabled by someone who is not a minister, then it may be possible that Council of Ministers, which supported this bill to get passed from Lok Sabha and then Rajya Sabha, now Council of Ministers advises Honorable President, sir, withhold this bill. Then even though this bill came at the stage of President, it will be withholded. Second case can be, consider that this government actually proposed a bill from Lok Sabha, then it passed from Rajya Sabha, presented before Honorable President, but before President could sign this bill, government got dissolved, right? There was fresh election. After fresh election, new government was formed from other party. So President has done nothing with that bill until now. When President was asked, when they got the list, which bills are with Honorable President, so they got to know, oh, this bill is Honorable President. Now the new government will say, for example, Congress government, right? What is harm in thinking? So now they are going to say that President, sir, you have to withhold this bill. Then President is going to withhold that bill, even though that bill was government bill. But that was raised by earlier government, right? Suspensive veto. You can easily remember the word suspensive comes from the word suspend, and suspend itself is a temporary provision. For example, when you are going to get into service, there may be some time when you are going to get suspended, and there is nothing wrong in getting suspended if you are correct, right? There will be inquiry and then you will be reinstated. So your suspension, this word represents temporary removal, right? So similarly, when a particular bill was received by Honorable President and he sent that bill for reconsideration, so that is temporary rejection. When this bill is going to come back, then President is going to sign this bill. So returns the bill for reconsideration, can again passed, then he has to give his assent. Cannot return money bill for reconsideration. Now, suspensive veto cannot work on money bill. Means, if this bill which I received, which I smartly actually send that back by using suspensive veto, if that bill is money bill, as per Article 110 of Indian Constitution, then I cannot send this bill back for reconsideration. And you are going to ask why? Because money bill is introduced in Lok Sabha by prior recommendation of President, right? If it was introduced by my prior recommendation, why I'm going to waste time in using suspensive veto now, right? Pocket veto. It means taking no action. Bill, no action was taken by President. President neither gives assent nor withhold assent, and this bill is pending indefinitely. In reference to pocket veto, it is said that India's president's pockets are way deeper than US president's pocket. Because in case of US president, there's a limit till what time no action can be actually taken by Honorable President in case of a bill which is pending. But there's no limit which is mentioned by our Constitution with respect to our President. That is why a bill can remain pending for indefinite period. For 24th Constitutional Amendment Act 1971, President has to give assent to Constitutional Amendment Bill. So this was a time of Indira Gandhi ji. She said, in case of Constitutional Amendment Bill, President has to give assent. No choice. In case of USA President, they have to they have to take action within 10 days. return the bill. Means suspensive qualified can be used, but you cannot do anything for, you can say, more than 10 days. Presidential veto over state legislation. I told you one case, right? Now let's discuss them in detail. A bill passed by state legislature becomes an act after it receives governor's assent. But there are cases where governors reserve the bill for honorable president. So when it is received, president can give assent, withhold assent, direct the governor to return the bill, but not in case of money bill, told you. Constitution does not prescribe time limit. This is important, in which the president has to take decision. And that is why sometimes this provision is misused. A state's bill may be stalled, right? Ordinance-making power of Honorable President, Article 123. And we are going to discuss ordinance-making power of Governor in Article 213 later. So, ordinance has same force as an act. I told you it's like a temporary law. Most important, legislative power of President, most important. Meant to deal with unforeseen urgent circumstances. UPSC has asked questions in prelims as well as mains on ordinance-making power. Let's talk about limitation. President can promulgate ordinance only when, I told you, both houses or either house. Means one house is not in session. It means, yeah, genuinely, we cannot make law as of now, right? So in this case, yes, president can actually pass an ordinance on the, means what is going to happen? This council of minister at the level of union, they are going to present bill directly before president. And they will say, sir, we'll actually go for this Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha route later. Please sign this bill and declare this as law, as an ordinance. President can make ordinance only when he is satisfied the circumstances exist. Well, taking this house route is not possible. Now, in this Cooper case, please remember, because UPSC asked question, match the following kind of questions on cases as well. Cooper case, Supreme Court said it is not cool. What is not cool? It is not cool to actually president, using this ordinance making power without actually having sound base. It means SEL that president's satisfaction can be questioned on the malefice. You're not having sound base. Why you actually used ordinance? You could have used this route of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. You could have convened the session. You deliberately did not convene the session and use this ordinance route so that you can bypass Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. It may be possible that party in power is not having majority in Rajya Sabha. So they thought, oh, even if you get it passed from Lok Sabha, then this bill will stuck in Rajya Sabha. Let's use this ordinance route. So Cooper case, Supreme Court said it's not cool. We can actually check the malefice. That president has deliberately promulgated an ordinance in controversial subject, bypass the authority of parliament. This is a misuse. Means questions are asked here. Ordinance making power is co-extensive in all regards except duration with the law making power of parliament. It means it is not ultimate. It is not going to continue. There's a limitation to that. What is the limitation? That when parliament is going to convene within 6 weeks, you have to get this ordinance passed from there. Otherwise, it will cease to exist. Parliament has even, government has many times played smart in that case also. I'm going to talk about DC Wadhwa case. Now, an ordinance can be issued only on those matters upon which Parliament has power to legislate, not on stateless subject. Now, please remember, this is a trap statement. UPSC may play with you at this point. How? They may say, since this statement is clearly written in Lakshmikant, so those you are going to read this, so this is a snapshot from Lakshmikant itself. But now I'm making a statement, you have to tell me the statement is true or false. UPSC will say, ordinance making power of president in any case cannot extend to state list, comma. This ordinance making power can only be applied on union list. Now tell me the statement is true or false. You will say that it is true, because you are saying that ordinance making power of president does not extend to state list. Yes, and this statement is saying ordinance can be issued only on those matters upon which parliament can legislate, not on state list subject. It is clearly, what is trap here? My friends, the statement is wrong. Because this statement is made only with respect to President chapter. But when we discussed, if you remember, emergency provisions, President rule, state emergency. So when there is no state government there and there's no parliament in session, then in this case, President can actually promulgate an ordinance on a matter in state list as well. So it means there is a possibility there. Yes, President can do that in that case. But when this statement was made, like I said, President in any case cannot legislate, cannot actually promulgate ordinance in state list. So cannot in any case. No, there's a case. I just shared with you. Right? So this is how UPSC play. Okay. Ordinances are subject to the same constitutional limitation, means review can happen, judicial review can happen. Okay. It can be declared null and void. Every ordinance issued by President has to be laid before Parliament House when the Parliament reassembles. If it is approved by Parliament, then it becomes Act. If Parliament takes no action, then it ceases to operate after 6 weeks of reassembly. Now, if I ask about the maximum time, maximum life of an ordinance, so this can be 6 months, 6 weeks. Why? Because within 6 weeks, Parliament has to give assent. And if Parliament is going to give assent, means Lok Sabha, Raj Sabha are passing it, then definitely it can convert into an actual act. And why the 6 months? Because maximum time period between 2 sessions of Parliament can be 6 months. Within 6 months, you have to reassemble Parliament. That is the direction of our Constitution, right? So, ceases to operate earlier if both the houses disapprove it. Maximum life, told you. UPSC has asked statement question on this. If an ordinance lapses, then acts done before it lapse remains valid and effective. Please remember it also. Because the actions which were taken by different functionaries exercising power from that ordinance, they will remain valid because this was taken when that particular ordinance was actually working as a law. So that is why they will remain valid. The President can also withdraw an ordinance at any time. Ordinance can be retrospective. Retrospective, it means from backdate. Please remember, retrospective in civil cases, right? Can modify, repeal an act of Parliament or another, such as the power of ordinance, right? Now, ordinance-making power is not discretionary. It means President has to act on the aid and advice of Council of Ministers. Already told you. Ordinance-making power of President is unusual. Means it is not usually found in democratic societies. Why? Because democracy means Parliament, people elected by people, representatives elected by people, they should have power with respect to lawmaking process. So it means you are clear with the provisions with respect to ordinance. Now, DC Wadhwa case. Take a look what Supreme Court said. Successive promulgation of an ordinance. What happened? That even if a particular ordinance is not cleared by Parliament, 6 weeks happen, within 6 weeks you need to get it passed. But this particular government is not presenting this particular bill over or ordinance for getting it passed from Lok Sabha or Raj Sabha. What they are doing, they're again actually bringing it before Honorable President. Sir, please promulgate it again. So this would be actually against this. It would be considered unconstitutional. An attempt to get bill passed by Assembly Parliament around violation of the Constitution. Who said this? DC Wadhwa case. Clear? Exceptional power of lawmaking through ordinance cannot be used to substitute the ordinary legislative process. I think it is clear now. Pardoning power. So President can grant pardon. So there's a broad word, mercy, right? Within that we use the word pardon, commutation. So it may be possible that you were pronounced someone else were pronounced, say, so now we need to talk about pardoning power of president. Consider someone gets life imprisonment from High Court, appeal in Supreme Court, then again life imprisonment. So possibility is given to that person that person can appeal before Honorable President for mercy. Because there can be an error of judgment, there can be a fault in the judicial process which can be corrected at the law of president. But you should remember that president is independent of judiciary. You should not consider that this is a proper judicial process, that there will be a court of president where that person is going to appeal before Honorable President through an advocate. No. President is going to receive the case file. Okay. So that is why it is an executive power, not the full proof, judicial process. So president is not court of appeal. It is not court of appeal. Okay. Objective of conferring this power to the president, as I told you, keeping the door open for correcting judicial error. It may be possible. Afford relief from a sentence which the president regards unduly harsh. There were cases, for example, if you search about Dhananjay death sentence case. So there was a guard in this West Bengal, specifically in Kolkata, and that person was pronounced this death sentence, in a rape cum murder case. But after this death sentence was given, later some media group found out some proof, and then case was reopened, and it was found that that person did not committed this crime. But death sentence was given. So this scope is there, right? So this scope can be removed. There's a probability that it can be removed by listening to this, or you can say going through this file and case fact before Honorable President. Although President does not act on his own discretion in this case, right? Means Council of Ministers has a role, specifically Home Ministry. Okay. So no right for oral rehearing. I told you, exercise power and advice of Union, right? Council of Ministers, specifically Home Ministry, not bound to give reason for his order, right? Not bound to give an order. Means not, if for example, if President says, oh, I'm pardoning this person, absolving from all the foundations which was put, completely removing life imprisonment, now this person is free. Yes, President can do that. So President is not bound to give reason why President did that. President can afford relief not only from a sentence, but he consider unduly harsh, but from what he considered as a mistake. So in all the cases, he can do that. Supreme Court does not need to lay a specific guideline for the exercise of power of president. Please remember this, because UPSC play on these points. Supreme Court does not need to lay specific guidelines. There's no role of judiciary here. That's why I told you independent of judiciary, right? Here, I told you. This is the meaning of that. Now, if I ask whether this judgment can be considered under judicial review, yes, it is. Judicial review ground when presidential decision is arbitrary. So judicial review applies there as well. Don't think, oh, president is the topmost position, that this decision is going to be on judicial review. No, judicial review hai. In an earlier petition, if an earlier petition is rejected, then the stay cannot be obtained by filing another petition. For example, if this petition was presented before Honorable President, it was not accepted, then you cannot say, I'm filing another petition and meanwhile give me stay. No. This cannot be a basis of taking stay from court just because your petition is with president. Now let's understand these words. What the meaning of word pardon? Complete relief. Complete relief. You are free. It's like Ja Simran Ja, ji le apni zindagi. Okay, the famous dialogue of DDLJ. Now, commutation. There's a trick there. Commutation you can remember with commute. Right? Commute means from one to another. That is what we call commute. So this way you can remember, in commutation, there is actually change in the type of sentence. And sentence's type is changed and it is given at a lighter note. Then remission. Remission you can remember with emission. And all of you know that we need to reduce emission. So in this case, the type of sentence is not changed. It is just reduced. Reducing the period of sentence without changing the character. Clear? Respite. Despite. So this is a trick I have given to you. Despite means, so you can remember, oh, respite means despite a person, a lady is pregnant or a person is disabled, very old, still that person is in jail, having this 14 years of sentence. So in this case, on these grounds, a lesser punishment can be given, right? Just to remember, reprieve. You can remember rep, zip. Zip means stay, right? So reprieve is like putting a stay, right? If you were given death sentence, no, death sentence will not be given as of now. Okay. So I hope now these 5 words and this meaning is clear to you. Now, pardoning power, and let's compare it with governor. President can pardon death sentence. Governor cannot pardon death sentence. President can pardon court-martial. Governor cannot pardon court-martial. President exercises judicial power in the punishment which is given under union law. Governor exercises power under punishment given under state law. Now, I told you judicial review is applicable. Pardoning power of president are wider than governor. As I told you, it is applicable in death sentence as well as in case of court-martial, right? If the power is given absolute, so is president's pardoning power is absolute? No, absolute nahi hai. Because it may give right to arbitrariness. Home Ministry can actually send this recommendation, even this person is a hardcore criminal, this person is given death sentence, then Home Ministry can give this recommendation, please pardon that person. Just say that to that person, Ja Simran, Ja Zile apni zindagi. Now the Simran will go into society and create devastations, right? So that is why this is not complete, this is not absolute. So Apuru Sudhakar case, Supreme Court clearly said that we have to check on the pardoning power of the president. What kind of people are completely absolved from any kind of sentence by president? Judiciary can intervene to prevent him from actually doing arbitrary actions. Now, since we are done with the powers, now let's have a summary of president. Nominal executive of our parliamentary system, it is clear. This is the first word which I shared in the video 1. President exercises functions with aid and advice of Council of Ministers. He represents the nation but does not rule the nation. He's a symbol of nation. Executive power of the union vested in president shall be a Council of Ministers to aid and advise. In 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, Indira Gandhiji's time, president bound by the advice of Council of Ministers. But in 44th Constitutional Amendment, Morarji Desai government came and they made this proposal. They actually made this amendment. It was a proposal earlier. President can request the Council of Ministers to reconsider its advice. But this reconsideration is once the reconsideration advice shall be binding. Means when it's coming back, then it will be binding. President has no constitutional discretion, but situational discretion. Means there are some situations in which president don't need advice of Council of Ministers. For example, if Prime Minister dies and the ruling party is not having any consensus whom they should actually consider as the leader of the house and then declared as Prime Minister by Honorable President. So there is no consensus on the leader. In this case, president can take call on discretion. Okay. Dismissal of the Council of Ministers. If the ruling government, the ruling party, they are not able to prove that they are having confidence in the house, means they are having majority support in Lok Sabha. In this case, dismissal can happen. Dissolution of Lok Sabha in case they loses majority in the Lok Sabha. Right? Now just attempt this question. Council of Ministers in the center shall be collectively responsible to the parliament. Statement is true or false? False, because the word is parliament. Council of Ministers is responsible to Lok Sabha. Right? Till the time they have majority in Lok Sabha, they will remain in as Council of Ministers. Union Minister shall hold the office during the pleasure of President of India. Correct. Prime Minister shall communicate to the President about the proposal for the legislation. Correct. Told you in the executive power, info seeking. Right. So answer is 2 and 3. 2 and 3. So I hope now you are confident and clear with the President chapter. If there is any doubt, you can shoot me a message on my Insta, shashank.powerbeing. And for this PDF, you can take a look in Shashank Tyagi for You Telegram group. See you in the next video. Till then, keep learning, keep growing.
StudyIQ IAS. अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।